Hey, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. Okay, so today agenda is, we're going to talk about, Azure SQL DBA and cloud database migration concepts, real-time aspect. Okay, so this is basically, 20 days of training period. Okay, which we're going to take, training mode is, online. Okay, so you can, walk through this, course outline and also can join in this WhatsApp group and WhatsApp group link. So for more updates, coming to this, myself, Kamara Bhimanna, you can call me Bhim. Okay, so I have 15 plus years of experience in IT as a cloud database administration and Azure SQL DBA, working as a multiple cloud migration projects last 5.5 years. Okay, in Azure and GCP. Okay, so we have given in a couple of corporate training as well. Okay, so this is all about myself. Okay, so here it is talking about Azure SQL DBA related stuff, which we can able to see the course content related stuff. Okay, so we do have more into this covering of real time aspect. Okay, so in the first module one, basically we are going to cover cloud computing related stuff. Okay, so those who are freshers and those who are having a little bit of knowledge on the cloud aspect. Okay, so and also if you have an experience with any cloud other than this Azure, GCP, AWS, Alibaba, IBM Cloud, and all. Okay, so you can able to have glance of basic stuff will get in a module one. Okay, so from starting onwards, we are going to give this entire stack will um, give the knowledge on the basic related stuff. Okay, so for this one, I just want to talk about introduction of the cloud computing and the fundamental related stuff. Okay, so though you are working into this Azure database administration or MS SQL DBA, which you are have a couple of experience in a DBA aspect, you should know this in entire basic stuff. Okay, and coming to this module two, it's basically we are going to talk about Azure background and how it is got evaluated into the market, since the AWS is a market leader. So the services, what are the core services Microsoft Azure is providing with respect to Azure SQL DBA aspect. Okay, and the certification point of how much we are going to cover, how we can able to clear that certification as well. Most of 90% of certification course content we are going to cover. The rest thing we just going to give complete the real time use business use case related stuff we are going to discuss, and we are going to implement labs as well. Okay, we'll go through this day to day lab setup, entire stack we're going to discuss. Let me show that, current existing classes which we're going to discuss. Okay, we will it have some this kind of, POC kind of environment where we can able to, design and go through the step-by-step process. Let's say we are going to configure the VNet and SQL. So we will, design this pattern and step by step we are going to implement entire lab setup on each and every module. So this is the main agenda of stressing to cover all real-time aspect. Okay, so this is what about the global infrastructure, how many regions, how many zones will have. So we're going to cover entire zones, availability zones and regions, the paid regions we are going to discuss, and also how we're going to create your Azure account and what are the subscription model we have, that we are going to cover. Part of this course, basically we are gonna give you the free trial subscription, and how we are going to leverage that free trial subscription with you. Okay, so that entire stack also we're going to cover, and Azure management tools, with respect to Azure management tools prospect of, we do have a lot of tools apart from this. Um, apart from this GA method. Okay, we'll go and we'll do by using of couple of tools, PowerShell, CLI, and SDK. So where we can able to give complete, deployment process as well, so that you'll get in clarity how it is going to help you to understand. Okay, so that is that is more important stack here. Okay, so I'll just go and walk through this, essential technology terminologies also we're going to cover. Okay, so and we're going to cover, three things actually. Okay, so one is for the infrastructure as service and the platform as a service. If you go in the cloud landscape, you will get most of the work related stuff. Basically, we have, infrastructure as a service and the platform as a service and the software as a service. Okay, this is our traditional method that how we're going to work into this on-premises currently existing environment. Let's say the networking, storage, the services, virtualization, and we do have, middleware, runtime, data application related stuff with us. Okay, so where we can able to do our day-to-day task, different teams we are going to coordinating will use for the, business operational business methods. Okay, the tools and all integrated. But when you go for the cloud landscape, okay, it is basically which is going to cover, database prospect of infrastructure as a service and the platform as a service and software as a service. Okay, so in infrastructure as a service, in what extent as a database administration guy, you are going to work on completely cloud landscape. Okay, so though it is in cloud, basically you are going to work as a Azure SQL database administration guy, or also legacy models that we are going to migrate from on-premises to cloud landscape. So what extent you are going to use and what is the business you're supposed to use this, infrastructure as service? Do you have any, software life cycle, the beneficial? So that thing we are going to implies in this, end to end will work on this one. So in this one, to understanding the virtual missions and features, supported operating systems, and what are the VM size. Why? Because though you are working Azure SQL DBA, you would have to know the exact VM sizing and which VM model sizing tier it is going to support. Since we are the database guys, whether it's IO extensive or the memory extensive related VMs which you need to track. So that in details we are going to discuss, and we are going to deploy the VM, and there would be a lot of use cases. Let's say if you have existing software assurance with you, how we are going to leverage. Okay, that also we are going to discuss. Deploying of the VM, installing of the VM, and also we are going to use that existing inbuilt template in a marketplace. How we are going to leverage. Let's say if you want to deploy couple of within the 5 to 10 minutes, you want to deploy 10 servers or 15 servers. How we are going to automate. So these are the things which we are going to discuss mostly, and the backup integration, backup configuration for this VM level and the SQL level and the patching. So these kinds of modules we are going to do, and the best practice standpoint of what you are going to achieve, list of the tools that we are going to use in the SQL application deployment, data analytics, Azure updates, including these things we are going to discuss. And post this module, what exactly we are going to cover. So to understanding the VMs and differentiation between the Azure VM sizing tier and all, and also we are going to deploy the managing of optimizing of our SQL Server IaaS VM in Azure VM, that we are going to do, and availability, licensing, integration, Azure services we are going to completely output it is going to do. Okay, coming to this is fourth module is basically the storage aspect. So again, I'm saying, so we are more emphasizing to learn basic to expert level. This is going to help you to understand what is the storage level, storage services in Microsoft, whatever is going to provide, that what extent it is going to help us to do the task, or migration, daily tasks related, which we have most of the time, which is going to compile around 30 to 40% of the tasks with the storage component. So with the respect to storage aspect, how much it is going to help us to do these things, so that it is going to help us to identify the list of the services, and with respect to migration, with respect to backup related stuff, the storage related stuff also we are going to cover. So apart from that, module 5 is basically, we are, combination of, basic stuff as well as, SQL, Azure SQL. We are going to discussing each and every module, because of without this, basic stuff, we cannot able to do any task. Okay, so now coming to the module 5, it's basically, SQL Server with, Azure with VNet information. So let's say you want to connect from, on premises and or within the cloud, how we are going to connect. So that is completely, interconnected with the VNet and the subnets related stuff. So as a, database administration guy, you are not purely, you are not going to work on Azure SQL, Azure SQL. You are going to work on Azure SQL, but not in the VNet. But our agenda, those who are already experienced guys to working as a, Arctic level senior database administration, that it is going to help us to know identify, to list of, virtual networks, so which networks need to map and which environment, which region, that it is going to help us to restrict in a security point of. That's what we are going to cover, enhancing the security with the Azure private link of Azure SQL, and also we are going to give this Azure VNet peering environment enhancement, as well as the, custom routing, user defined route for the VNet as well. So this is going to help us the connectivity part within the Azure services, how default it is going to connect. If you want to restrict them, how we are going to restrict that kind of, real time use cases we are going to, implies here. Okay, so next, coming to the module 6, it is purely for the Azure SQL database related. So we do have, Azure SQL related three flavors. Okay, let me show that. Okay, basically we have, three type of flavors over here. Okay, so if you can see this combination of Azure SQL and a pass model, whatever we are discussing just before. Okay, in this, in a pass model, just before we talked about in module 4 and 5. Now, if you go for this in platform as a service, we'll have, three combination of Azure SQL databases. See, Azure SQL databases, we have, singleton database and elastic pool and a managed instance. So among these three essential PaaS module Azure SQL database, which business use case it is going to suit for, which scenario that we are going to, leverage, and, while, discovery assessment part, you can able to give the recommendation to the customer client to choose, best suit for them based upon their environment, based upon the requirement. Okay, so that we will go and, deploy and, connectivity, and ensuring that, client suggestion point of, we are going to discuss and, deploy the all real-time use cases with respect to single database, elastic pool, and managed instance. In which business use case we are going to use singleton database, and which use case business use case we are going to use the elastic pool and the managed instance server. Let's say the brand new environment, if it's a startup one, that they are not going to bear with, any licensing aspect and administration overhead. They don't want to go bear this one. Then that is, we'll go for the single database point of, we can best suit for, cost effective manner we can able to implement. Again, this, elastic pool is, it is a effective use of resource utilization of elastic pool. We are going to use this feature in the Azure SQL database. So this concept is basically, let's say you have, three 24/7, you have three working zones, let's say, IST and EST and PST time zone. So accordingly, if you are going to use the rest of the times, okay, if you are working in the IST time zone or the EST time zone, database should be, ideal, but still your, cost is going to incurring into the ultimately in the monthly, right? So that is the case, how we are going to use that, effective usage of this, by using of the elastic pool. So it is going to help us to reduce our cost. Okay, and what is the, scope of, business continuity will going to help us in the past model, which was going to implement in a backup solution, geo replication, failure group concept. How much extent we can able to make your, business continuity by using of single and elastic pool. Coming to the managed instance, it is, which is going to give the compatibility of your on premises. It is nearly to the 99%. Okay, the elastic pool on a singleton, nearly it is going to give 90 95% of why the vary of this basically between these three services. Okay, it's based depend upon service. Okay, let's say the managed instance, which is going to give the 99% compatibility, except that OS underlying OS control. Okay, so we'll have all the features, all the compatible, let's say the DB mail CLR integration, or linked server, so replication, whatever you want to do in on-premises, the entire thing you can able to do. When you go for this Azure SQL database singleton or elastic will not get SQL agent and CLR enabled cross databases, DB mail. So these kinds of feature it is not going to available. So that before going to suggest implement to the customer end, you are ensuring that that should be appropriate, okay, solution to provide. So that's what always you have to recommend. So when you are going to give the solution, you just do in the POCs. That's what we are going to do here. Complete the POC in POC related stuff. Okay, every time we are going to do every time we're going to do here, like the end-to-end POC architecture diagram, and we are going to implement this end-to-end of orchestration as well as the managed instance related stuff. So each and every module is going to 90% of real-time POCs we are going to implement. That is the main agenda. Okay, so on-premises to data studio, how we are going to connect. These are the things we are going to connect, and we'll do and we'll implement step-by-step process. Let's say you have cloud landscape that you are going to connect from your on-premises data center, and so how it is going to connect, what is the use cases. Let's say if you don't want to use to connect it on-premises within the cloud also, what is the feasible to connect the options. So to ensuring or to cut down this cost also, what is the best solution we are going to use, implementation, design, and discovery part into the Azure SQL managed instance. So apart from that, what exactly we are going to cover? Basically, I'm just going to speed because of I just want to explain it, in details of the each and every module, what we are going to do, what we will do, what is the output it is going to coming. So now the module 7 is basically implementing of connectivity, deployment, security, and the latest cloud innovation. Let's say if you guys remember the if you last 1 year, one of year, basically the since that past model Azure SQL or Azure SQL managed instance, we don't have any option to make that stop and start of instances. Okay, so that once you have got deployed, you don't have any option to stop that instances. Normally, if you are not using your non-prod environment, okay, so once after the deployment is done, it is going to run 24/7. Okay, so accordingly, it is going to charge from the Microsoft also in the minute billing. But once of this, recently November 22 feature, and also in the free trial subscription, you will not get this managed instance to testing purpose. So recently in December 2023, and Microsoft announced that managed instance in the free trial to use and test it and validate it. And also in the November 22 feature, also the Microsoft is launched to make this one. By using of this feature, you can able to use that start and stop environment. So because of that, it is going to reduce your cost always. So simple example is if your production, if it is on 24/7, that is well and good. But when you go for the non-prod environment that you are going to running in the cloud landscape, that is not required 24/7. Maybe not frequently it is going to use. That is the case, you can make this one by implementing of this scheduled time. Accordingly, the scheduled time, the instance is going to start. So as and when it is going to start, the cost is going to incur. Other than that, only the storage level cost is going to put Microsoft Azure. Okay, so that it is going to reduce your cost nearly to the 60 to 70% off. Okay, now coming to the 8 module, what we are going to cover: Azure SQL Service TS, elasticity, in a cost optimization in the cloud landscape. So what we will do, we will discussing. So when you are going to implement into the cloud landscape, we do have DTU model, database transaction unit, and vCore model. So what is the main advantage of this DTU model and vCore model? Basically, we are going to uh, we are going to show that vCore and DTO model is basically okay. I'm just finding that diagram. Okay, let me show that. Okay, I could not find at this moment. I'll make it ready. No. So now, what about this? DTO and the vCore model. Basically, as and when we are going to deploy this your SQL servers in the PaaS model, we'll have a two service tier. One is a DTO model, and other one is a vCore model. So the DTO model is basically it is a combination of storage. Okay, so IO and the memory. Okay, basically this blend of a combination will get in a DTU model. So it is a fixed component. Let's say you with a combination of 20 DTUs will get 20 DTUs will get 40 GB of the storage. Let's say if you want in any customize, you want a larger amount of storage, but CPU memory, if you want to lesser it, it is not going to give the option at all into the DTU model. But when you go for the vCore model, the best use case is you can do the customization. Let's say if it is IO extensive or the memory extensive, that you can able to choose your vCore in your requirement and larger requirement. Let's say 16 cores to 36 cores, 80 cores, whatever you want to take, you can take it. Subsequently it is required lesser amount of storage or more storage 4 terabytes, or else you can have 100 GB. So you can able to customize in your environment if when you are going to select into the vCore model. Okay, so and also the vCore model is going to give the best suit in the business critical model, which is going to give you the hybrid benefit. So these are the things that is going to happen into the vCore and the DTO model. We do have, general purpose and business critical hypercare models and basic standard and, premium. These are the DTO models which we are going to use. But all together, whatever the business use case we are going to use, that is depend upon your client requirement. Okay, based upon that, you can able to take and, this is going to implement end to end in details, lab setup and architecture diagram we are going to implement. So we will have monitoring aspect. Okay, so how we're going to monitoring your Azure SQL database, how we can able to configure the backups and all. Okay, so that we are going to discuss in details over here. So let me show that training aspect. Currently the existing existing bugs is currently running. Okay, that we can able to use. Okay, so if you can see this backup vault as well, which we can able to take it and implemented solution here, Azure Vault backup as well. Okay, so this is Azure Vault backup implementation we did end to end. That is also one architecture diagram we implemented. Okay, so we'll see that part. Actually this is backup and recovery solution that we implemented in the current existing batch. If you can see this, we will get complete day-wise a recording session will be there. Okay, so we'll have entire interview questions, and also we'll have some resumes information. Okay, so we'll get documentation, a run book we will get. Okay, so let's say if you can see this run book completely, it is going to give you this step by step process, and each and every service in details explanation is going to give you. So that just before what we talked about vCore and the DTU model, right? That also you can able to see here in details of your information. Okay, let me go walk through this here, the DTU and the business critical DTU and the vCore model as well. Okay, so yeah, if you can see this is vCore model and the DTU model that just before we talked about, right? So now let's jump into this. Mm, Module 9, that is all about the backup and recovery, and module 10 is basically we are going to Azure SQL resilience migration, HADR implementation. What is the migration tools that you are going to use, whether the SSMS using you can able to do the DMA, data migration assistant, data migration service, and Azure Data Studio. So all we can able to use and main move for based upon the outage time which is got approved by client. So which is the best suite of migration approach, okay, that we are going to give complete end-to-end solution over here. Okay, so the 11th module is basically the monitor and optimization of cost prospective we are going to do. And we are going to do some architecture diagrams, the best practice if you at all if you're going to work in a client, so that it is going to leveraging over here. Okay, so that is what here I'm just mentioning. Okay, so if you have any questions, just reach out us, WhatsApp group and WhatsApp number, and just ping me WhatsApp number so that we can discuss and we can give the more updates over here. This is all about the course content related stuff. And I do have just before I deployed virtual network. Okay, this is not related to our end, but when you go for you leveraging of your managed instance deployment, we can do it the deployment process here. Okay, just click on create managed instance, which is going to give the feature that we just before we test the applying of free offer of preview mode. Okay, you can leverage this one. Okay, just if I'm going to click on plus, this is going to give you a zero cost for you. Okay, so how it is going to deploy, what is the process to deploy, you can leverage it here. Okay, and also will it is going to give some grayed out option. Okay, so you can deploy this managed instance. Okay, agent SQL RG resource group 01. This is my resource group name that I'm going to provide. Okay, so and I can give this a free instance name which you can able to see by default it is going to give. This is in West US. And let's go to this VNet information, which is having a free VNet SQL MI managed instance, predefined managed instance with us, that you can able to click on create and give your complete login and password information over here. Okay, that is going to work with both the models. Okay, you do have like Windows authentication. It's same as our Azure AD user. Okay, we'll call it as an intra ID. Okay, so we'll call it as a Microsoft intra ID. And we do have multi-modal authentication. Let's say your SQL under Windows authentication is provide your user ID and the password as well. This is going to give some larger scale set of password. Just provide the password and ensuring that should be more than 16 digit characteristics. So let's move further and make the additional steps and all. Let's go and click on create and create it here. So if you can see this one, the deployment process, it is going to take more than 6 hours. Okay, so let's say the same thing, if you go for remove this offer, make it as an yes, and we'll go for hmm, the instance name you would have to give. Okay, so let's say AZ SQL MI and 001. Okay, so this is my SQL MI instance name. Let's go to this. Okay, I'll go this VNet, which location it is available. Okay, so it is going to create new one. I want to go for create it, East US region. Okay, let's see, we'll see the West US region it is available or not. VNet SQL, no. Okay, go to the previous, make this one in the East US region. All right, now see this, by default, the existing VNet is going to show you. Okay, so now I could able to see that VNet and a subnet. As I discussed initially, it's required, dedicated VNet subnet one so that you can able to deploy. So if you can go and, additional settings under nest tags, just click on review, which is not going to take, that much of time. Okay, normally it is going to show the 6 hours of the deployment process, but it is not going to take that much of time. So This is all about manage instance deployment. I could go and apply this free one, so that the cost is going to reducing, and you can able to deploy this one by using of in a geo method. Okay, so the same thing you can able to deploy in a JSON template as well, okay, in a PowerShell mode also. But at this moment we are going and we deploy into this process only. Let's deploy this one. The current managed instances is got deployed at this moment, so it is going to take much time. Whereas, okay, so I could able to go and see this mm, Azure SQL deployment as well. Meantime, okay, so we'll test it both the things. Okay, so I don't want to use this VNet as because we are going to use this free trial. Okay, so which is going to cost for me. That's what I'm going to delete this VNet one. Okay, so let me make this one clear. Okay, so the managed instance that both are deployment is in progress. One is for VNet deployment, the other one is managed instance deployment is in progress. Okay, so let it deploy. Mostly it is going to take nearly 6 hours of time. Meantime, we can deploy the Azure SQL and try to connect to our on-premises laptop. Okay, just click on create here, or else we'll go for the create resource option and navigate to the database and go to the Azure SQL and click on create. So where it is going to show you this complete bunch of pass module as well as IaaS module. These two combination which we discussed, Azure SQL and Azure SQL managed instance, comes into the pass module. What we talked about here, the pass module related stuff. Okay, so under the tree we have two options, and we do have normal virtual machine as well. This is as similar as our on-premises one, so we are not going to learn any much things over here, the regular task perspective, but only the differentiation is to deployment and the configuration. It is very mandatory to know the things, but you can able to quickly learn on this aspect. So comparing to other aspect is single database and elastic pool, what we discussed just before, we are going to leverage in the Azure SQL aspect. So the other thing is we do have pass model managed instance. So Azure SQL managed instance, Azure SQL Arc also, we have the two things. Okay, just I deployed here. Okay, this one, it is in progress now. Let me go and click on create in a single database Azure SQL one. So this is it's a kind of normal single database it is going to apply. Okay, you can utilize this the same resource group or existing one, and just provide your database name over here. Cloudpix demo DB1, this is my database name. Since I don't have any existing servers with this current location, let's create an new server AZ SQL SRV 001, and this is my logical SQL Server instance name, where we're going to use this SQL Server instance to connect your application. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. So we'll use this is Azure AD authentication. You can leverage as same as our on-premises Active Directory methodology. Just take this account, click on OK, set up this Azure SQL admin. Just provide SQL admin user ID. The user ID, that is up to you guys. Whatever you want to give, you can give. I will going to give this password information over here. Once the password has given to, just move on to this next option. This is all about creating of your logical SQL Server instance. So you are using the service, not installation, configuration, deployment. We are not going to do. We are just going to utilize the pass module services in the exclusive dedicated modules. We are going to discuss all this LRS, ZRS, RS, We are going to discuss. Let's move this one into the security privileges option. If you want to use the public endpoint, you can use, and so that you can able to easily connect to your local server SSMS set. Just click on additional settings. If you do you have any existing backups with you, you can restore it, or else use the none, that is empty database. and you can use this, adventure work, predefined backup file, which we can able to create with the adventure work name. So adventure work data with this whatever provided name. So just click on create. The database is going to create, and you can utilize this database from your, local laptop or local system or within the cloud. Also, you can able to leverage. So during the connectivity, if you are want to, give the whitelisting of your IP or your network, that it is going to give us, firewall related stuff. Let me, open my management studio. Just before what you talked about connectivity, Pranav, this is, our architecture diagram, which we are going to connecting your on-premises related stuff. Okay, so if you can see the architecture diagram, which we are going to focusing here. Okay. Let's see, we do have some architecture diagrams with us that we widely in front of you folks we are going to utilize. Let's see here the architecture diagrams basically in a real-time aspect. Okay, in a model completion, we'll definitely gonna use this one, and we'll explore it each and every point and create it here. The existing architecture diagrams in front of you folks, and then we'll, step-by-step process we are going to implement this one. See, this is, landing zone information. Let's say if you have in a cloud landscape, how we are going to, deploy this one. And if you are in an architecture level, we're working in any environment, that it is going to help you to connectivity options. Let's say these are the services which you are frequently going to utilize. Okay. So okay, if you can see here, so in a cloud landscape, so most of the cases that we are going to use, and the connectivity standpoint of we will use your on-premises data center or else your applications as well. This is the case how we are going to implement step-by-step process. Okay, so at this moment, we just talked about, managed instance and Azure SQL as well. So we can, leverage that SQL just before we deploy that, Azure SQL one, we can able to implement this one in a step by step in a module based. Okay, the one which we talked about completely the course curriculum which I deployed here. Okay, so that we can able to go into each and every module. We have, a dedicated POC architecture diagram. We are going to implement that one. During that period, you will get in a lot of issues we are going to resolving in front of you folks. Okay, so the other aspect what I'm talking about, so you do have the daily recording sessions. If you can see, we have the recording sessions with us. Okay, this is September batch, and November batch also currently running. So the currently we are today also we just had a session with us. So where is that November batch? Okay, so we do have, day 21 currently running. Uh, Let me show that whether it uploaded which date. Okay, so till today, John 8th, we just uploaded all the document. Okay, single day we uploaded, we'll get all the recording sessions with you, and we are going to provide recording session with you. Okay, so the entire information from the basics to advanced level, which we are going to implement all architecture diagrams implementation, so that we'll get real-time feel to implement this one. Okay, so this is all about my end. So okay, so if you have any questions, let me know, so that we'll wind up this session. Let me know if you have any question. That's it, mine. Thanks for joining. Thank you all. Okay, so see you in next batch, upcoming batch. We're gonna start on 10th January. If you guys is feel to join this, batch, reach out us. Okay, so that more details will get, get it done to move forward. Okay, thank you all. Bye bye.